We're now going to take a look at the message send tool in the HYTE console. The message send tool helps when you want to send test messages or certify certain scenarios within your application, and you want to specify specific messages or message headers and behaviors and test error handling and things, expiration, things of that nature. So let's dive in. So I'm going to start on the queue manager, the server list page. So I'm going to select this server, and I can get to the message send page from a couple different ways. I could do it from the menu drop down, click send messages, but I like it when it populates exactly the queue that I want to select. So I'm going to go to the queue list page and use a little paper airplane icon, and it's going to send me to the queue list, the queue send page. The queue send page, the very top, we've got the server, and you can see that, as we'd hope for, the server and the destination are already pre-populated. If you need to come and change this for some reason, you can start typing, and you're going to get a drop-down type ahead list of servers that you can enter. Same thing for queue. I can start typing the name of a queue and get a list of matching options. And I can also change this to a topic if I needed to. The queue manager box is for when you're testing cluster and remote queues, and it's only available on IBM MQ servers. See, in this way you can sending a message, for example, to QM Lab 1 queue manager, but then instruct that queue manager to deliver it to another queue manager that's in the cluster. So I'd specify QM80, and that would test the remote or cluster queue capability. The advanced section, this is where we specify information about the messaging task itself. And so we have two big modes. One is single message and the other is batch message. Most of the general settings are the same between single and batch message. Here you can specify a client ID if your environment requires it. You can specify testing different acknowledgement modes, including auto acknowledge or transacted. And here you can specify the max allowable execution time for the task, and you can specify an error mode. When you select batch, you get the extra options that are related to sending message batches or groups of messages. So here we can specify a count. So if we want to send 16 messages, and we could specify a delay. And you'll notice when we do this that the total delay is calculated automatically, and the max execution time is automatically increased to account for any kind of message delays or batches that might occur. So if we wanted to send 2 batches of 16 messages, you can see it's going to add 15 seconds. And then what the HYTE console does is it adds that number of seconds in the delay to the original 5 minutes. And so this way the task won't, along message batch or batch send, won't time out on you unintentionally. And then the message header section, this is where you can specify the commonly used JMS headers. So in correlation ID, you can manually specify correlation ID, or you can use a generated one. Timestamp and expiration support a calendar picker, calendar and time picker, and we provide this in 3 different ways. You've got the calendar and time, so we can enter this by hand or by selecting a date. So this is useful in testing expiration handling, within the broker for administrators or in the application. We also provide the information in the Unix timestamp format and the ISO 9601, which is used in JSON and XML. The cool thing we do is when you change those values, we automatically update everything. So you can see as you're changing the Unix timestamp, when you change the calendar, the Unix timestamp change, and so does the ISO 9601. And likewise, if you were to edit this by hand, all the other values change with it. The clear, we'll set it to nothing, and the now, we'll set it to the current time. So if you're working with them and you make a mistake, you can always just click the now and it'll take you back to the current time. Okay. The properties is where you can specify message headers that are custom. These are also type aware, so you could start typing things like message ID. And if I were to select that I want to make this an integer, but I were to type in text and try to add that, you can see that you're going to get an error that this is not a valid value. So it helps ensure that you don't enter incorrect values for these header properties. In the content section, this is where you can paste large text like XML or JSON or CSV or whatever the data format you have. You can also click the Send File button. You can upload and save your commonly used files. And when you upload them, you can also select them and choose to send them as binary if you wish to send testing as a binary message. So I'm going to send this message batch. Let's see, we'll call this 2 message batches. When we click send, you'll see that the send task window pops up, and you'll see that we've got a current status of the batch. You can see that this first batch is in progress. We've got information about the entire task. So the task is in sending mode, how much time it's taken, how much time is left, and you can see we've got completion of the first batch. Now the second batch is completed, and now the whole task is completed as well. In the task status menu, in the sending task status pop-up, you can click on the view task, and that's going to send you back to the task list page, and it'll show you all the details about the task that we just ran. You can click on download, and it'll give you a zip file of the task that we just executed, and we can click close to close the window. Now we're going to go send a single message with a header ID, and we're going to set that to 987. And that should be 987. Right. Click single message send, and there we have it. And that's message send.